Mama Chima was almost speechless. "You will never marry a girl like that," she shouted. "You're too good for her, Chima. What will people say?" But Chima shook his head calmly. "I don't care what people say, Mama. I know how I feel. Na is a good person, and I'm not leaving her." Chima was the kind of man many looked up to. Young, wealthy, and living in a luxurious house in the heart of Lagos, he owned a thriving company that made millions each year. His cars turned heads, and people envied his life. But despite everything, he felt a strange emptiness inside. One evening, as Chima drove home from work, he noticed a girl sitting under a tree by the roadside. She had crutches by her side, her clothes were torn, and her eyes looked weary. She wore no shoes and had nothing with her. Her legs seemed too weak to support her. She was clearly disabled. Chima glanced at her as he passed by, thinking, just another beggar. Lagos is full of them. He didn't slow down or stop. He had his own worries. But as he continued driving, something unsettled him. It wasn't guilt exactly. He had seen beggars all his life. But something about this girl lingered in his mind. Maybe it was how helpless she looked or the quiet sadness in her eyes. The next morning, as he drove to the office, he saw her again, still in the same spot. This time, she was trying to cross the road, struggling with her crutches. Cars zoomed past as she stood in the middle, afraid to move. Without thinking, Chima pulled over. He watched for a moment as people walked past her like she was invisible. Something inside him shifted. "Is this how we treat people now?" he muttered under his breath. He stepped out of his car and walked towards her. When she saw him, her eyes widened. She hadn't expected anyone, especially someone who looked as polished and important as he did, to help her. "I'm trying to cross," she said, her voice shaky. Chima said nothing, simply reached out and helped her across the road. When they got to the other side, she looked up, surprised. "Thank you, sir," she whispered, her eyes full of gratitude. Chima nodded and turned to leave, but her voice stopped him. "God bless you, sir. People like you. I don't see them often." He paused, then gave her one last look before walking back to his car. Her words echoed in his mind for the rest of the day. At the office, he couldn't focus. That girl's quiet thank you stayed with him, repeating over and over. He didn't understand why he cared so much. She was just a homeless, disabled girl. But still, something about her haunted him. Later that week, Chima's mother brought up the same topic she always did. "Chima, you're not getting younger. All your mates are married. You have money, a big house. What else are you waiting for?" She had even arranged a family dinner and invited Uju, the girl she wanted him to marry. Uju came from a wealthy family, and to Mama Chima, that was all that mattered. But Chima couldn't stand Uju. She was arrogant, obsessed with money, and had no depth. He tried to skip the dinner, but his mother wouldn't hear of it. "You must bring a date. Uju will be there, and I don't want you showing up alone." Chima sat in his office, dreading the thought of being stuck with Uju all evening. Then a thought crossed his mind. Nah. The girl he'd helped. She hadn't left his thoughts since that day. What if? The idea felt strange, even ridiculous, but it started to make sense. He could ask her to pretend to be his girlfriend just for one night. His family didn't know her, and she didn't know them. But would she agree? That evening, he returned to the same spot. She was still there, under the same tree, looking more tired than before. Her clothes were still worn, and she clutched her crutches tightly. Chima walked up to her. She looked up in surprise. "You again," she said softly. He handed her a small pack of food. "Hey, eat something first." She took the pack, opened it slowly, and began to eat. He watched her silently. She was clearly starving, and it pained him to see it. "Nah, I need your help," Chima said after a few quiet moments. She looked up, confused. "My help? How can I help someone like you?" Chima sat down beside her on the bare ground, ignoring the stares from passers-by. "There's a family dinner in a few days. My mother keeps pressuring me to get married and invited a girl I don't like. I need someone to pretend to be my girlfriend, just for one night. I'll pay you well, and after that, you can go back to your life." She blinked at him, stunned. "You want me, a beggar, to pretend to be your girlfriend? Why?" He looked into her eyes and said quietly, "Because I know you won't want anything from me. You're not like the others. You don't care about my money." Na didn't know what to say. No one had ever asked her anything like this. She was hungry, exhausted, and alone. And now, here was a stranger offering something that sounded crazy, but also, maybe, like a chance. She looked at him uncertainly. Chima could see the hesitation in her face. "I know it sounds crazy," Chima said gently, "but I'll take care of you. You don't have to worry. It's just for one night, and I'll make sure you're comfortable." Na took a deep breath, unsure. She didn't know this man well, but he had shown her kindness when no one else had. "What if your family finds out?" she asked hesitantly. "They won't," Chima replied confidently. "Just dress nicely, smile, and play along. After the dinner, I'll pay you, and you can go back to your life. It'll be over before you know it." Na looked down at her crutches, torn between fear and need. She had no better option. Slowly, she nodded. "Okay. I'll do it." Chima smiled, genuinely relieved. "Thank you, Na. You won't regret this." Na wasn't so sure. She had no idea what she was getting into, but she had made her decision. All she could do now was hope this strange arrangement would work in her favor. The day of the dinner arrived. Chima tried to act normal, but he couldn't hide his nerves. Earlier, he had taken Na to a salon, then to a boutique. When she stepped out of the changing room in the dress he had picked, Chima was speechless. She looked stunning. Her hair was neatly styled, her skin glowed, and the sadness in her eyes had been replaced with a shy, radiant smile. "Are you sure this is me?" she asked, looking down at the dress. "You look perfect," Chima said, smiling. "Just be yourself." That evening, they arrived at his mother's house. As soon as they stepped into the grand living room, all eyes turned to them. Conversations stopped. Everyone stared, his uncles, aunts, cousins, every face was frozen in surprise. Mama Chima, who had been chatting with Uju's parents, turned sharply when she saw them. Her eyes narrowed. "Who is this girl?" she asked coldly. Chima took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Mama, this is Na, my girlfriend." The room went silent. Family members exchanged glances, shocked. Mama Chima stood slowly, her gaze sharp. "Where is she from?" she asked, eyeing Na from head to toe. Na was nervous but kept her voice steady. "Good evening, Ma. I'm from Anambra." Mama Chima's face remained hard. She had expected Uju, not some girl she had never seen or heard of. "I see," she said with a tight voice. Before she could say more, Amaka, Chima's younger sister, stood and walked over with a warm smile. "Welcome, Na. Come, sit with me. You look beautiful." Na smiled shyly and followed her to a seat. Slowly, the other family members began warming up. They asked her gentle questions, and though nervous, she answered with honesty and grace. She didn't pretend, didn't exaggerate, just spoke simply. Before long, laughter returned to the room, and they spoke with her like she had always belonged. But Mama Chima stayed silent, watching every move with suspicion. Her mind wasn't at ease. Later that night, after the dinner, Chima drove Na back to her usual spot. They sat quietly in the car for a moment. Chima handed her an envelope. "Here's the money I promised. You were amazing tonight." Na took the envelope slowly but didn't open it. She looked at him. "So, is this goodbye?" Chima hesitated. He had expected this to be a one-time thing. But now, looking at her, he felt differently. "No," he said softly. "I'll see you again. I'll bring more food tomorrow." Na nodded and smiled, then quietly stepped out of the car and disappeared into the night. But Chima couldn't stop thinking about her. Her smile, her strength, it was all so different. She wasn't like Uju or any of the other women he'd met. She didn't care about his wealth or his status. She was real. In the days that followed, Chima found himself returning to see Na more often. Sometimes he brought food, other times they just sat and talked. They shared stories about their childhoods, their hopes, their pain. Na's warmth began to thaw Chima's guarded heart. She, too, started looking forward to his visits. She never imagined someone like Chima, a wealthy man, would sit with her, talk with her, treat her like an equal. But he did. He didn't pity her. He respected her. He listened. One evening, as they sat in the car, Na turned to him. "Why are you still helping me? You've already done enough." Chima smiled faintly, looking out the window. "I don't know. Maybe because when I'm with you, I don't feel so alone." Na looked at him, her heart tight. She felt the same, but the words didn't come. Chima knew it now. This wasn't just an arrangement anymore. Something real was growing between them, something deeper. Meanwhile, Uju wasn't blind to the shift. The dinner hadn't gone as she had hoped. Chima had barely spoken to her since. But what truly bothered her wasn't just his silence. It was the girl. That crippled girl who had shown up from nowhere. Now, it seemed Chima was spending more and more time with her. Uju burned with anger. How could he, Chima of all people, choose someone like that over me? One afternoon, unable to hold back her suspicion, Uju decided to follow him. She got into her car and waited. When Chima left his office, she trailed him, her heart pounding, gripping the steering wheel tight. Eventually, he parked at a familiar spot, by the roadside. She stayed back, watching. Her breath caught as she saw Chima step out of his car and walk straight toward the girl. Enye's eyes widened as she spotted Chima sitting with a homeless, crippled girl, talking and laughing like they were lifelong friends. "Is this a joke?" Yu whispered to herself, jealousy burning in her chest. How could he be spending time with a beggar? She watched for a while, her anger growing. This wasn't a passing interest. Chima genuinely cared for Nye. And that infuriated her. How could someone like him fall for a girl who had absolutely nothing? "You couldn't let this continue." "I'll fix this," she muttered, already plotting how to ruin Nye's life. The very next day, Yu drove straight to Chima's mother's house. The older woman welcomed her, though she still seemed visibly upset. "Good afternoon, Ma," Yu greeted, trying to sound concerned. "What brings you here?" Mima asked, sitting with a heavy sigh. "I haven't been able to sleep since that dinner," Yu said, leaning forward. "Chima has been acting strange lately. But I found out the truth about that girl. The one he brought to dinner, Nye. She's not who she claims to be." Mima's expression changed, her confusion evident. "What do you mean?" "She's not from a good family," Yu said, her voice laced with malice. "She's a beggar, homeless. I saw it myself." Chima visits her by the roadside like some secret lover. Can you believe it? Mima's eyes widened in disbelief. NEA is a beggar? Has Chima been lying to me? You nodded slowly, savoring the moment. Yes, Ma. He's kept it from you. But I thought you deserved to know the truth. Furious, Mima stood up abruptly. This cannot happen. My son, a wealthy man, marrying a girl like that? Never. Later that evening, when Chima returned home, his mother was waiting. Her face was tense with anger. Chima, is it true? She demanded the moment he stepped in. Confused, he asked, What are you talking about, Mama? That girl you brought to dinner. You told me everything. She's a beggar. Homeless. You've been lying to me. Chima stood silent for a moment, knowing the truth had finally reached his mother. He couldn't deny it any longer. Yes, Mama. NEA is homeless. She helped me that evening, and I didn't lie about my feelings. I love her. Mima was stunned. You will never marry a girl like that, she shouted. You're too good for her, Chima. What will people say? I don't care what people say, Chima replied, calm but resolute. I know how I feel. NEA is a good person, and I won't leave her. After the heated exchange, Chima knew he had to speak to NEA before she heard it from someone else. That evening, he went to her usual spot by the roadside. She was sitting quietly, her crutches beside her, gazing at the stars. When she saw him approach, she smiled, until she noticed the troubled look on his face. What's wrong? She asked gently. Chima sat beside her and took her hand. NEA, my mother found out everything. You told her about you. Her heart sank. I knew this would happen, she said softly. Your family will never accept me, Chima. I'm just a homeless girl. I can't even work properly. They'll always see me as worthless. Chima shook his head. No, NEA. I don't care what anyone thinks. I love you. I don't care that you don't have money or can't work. You're kind, strong, and genuine. That's all that matters. Tears filled her eyes. Chima, I never imagined someone like you could love someone like me. I have nothing to offer. He gently wiped away her tears. You don't need to give me anything. Your heart is enough. She managed a small smile through the tears, though fear still lingered. But your family, they'll never accept me. I'll fight for you, Chima promised. I'll stand up to them. I won't let anyone take you away from me. Enna looked up at him, emotion swirling in her eyes. All her life she had faced rejection and pain, but now someone was standing up for her. I love you, Chima, she whispered, finally releasing the word she had been holding back. He smiled, feeling a weight lift off his shoulders. I love you too, NEA. And we'll face whatever comes, together. The road ahead wasn't easy. Weeks passed, and despite the constant tension with his mother, Chima remained firm. Gradually, his siblings began to see what he saw in NEA, her kindness, strength, and the joy she brought to their brother. They started accepting her. But Mama Chima was still resistant. Each time he visited, she brought it up. Chima, can't you see she's not for you? She would say. You deserve someone like you, from a good, wealthy family. I've made my choice, Mama, he would respond gently but firmly. I love her. Nothing will change that. She couldn't understand why her son, with so many options, would choose a homeless, crippled girl. Yet she could see how serious he was. Meanwhile, you made one final attempt to destroy NEA's image. She spread false rumors, claiming NEA was using Chima for his money and had a hidden past. Don't trust that girl, she whispered to anyone who would listen. She's not what she seems. Whispers of doubt began to surface, even among family members. But Chima refused to be moved. He confronted you directly. Stop this nonsense, he said coldly. I know exactly what you're trying to do, and it won't work. Say whatever you like, but I love NEA, and I won't let you or anyone else ruin that. Realizing she had lost, you finally backed off, her heart burning with defeat. One morning, Chima visited his mother again. This time, she was quiet, deep in thought. She had heard from his siblings how much NEA had changed his life, how happy he was. Chima, she said softly, are you truly sure about this girl? Is this what you want? He smiled. Yes, Mama. NEA has nothing but her heart to give, and that's enough. I've never been so sure about anything. She looked at him for a long while, reading the sincerity in his eyes. Then, with a deep breath, she finally nodded. If she makes you happy, then I'll support you. Chima's face lit up with joy. Thank you, Mama. Thank you for understanding. Soon after, Chima and NEA began planning their wedding. Despite all the trials, their love only grew stronger. The day finally arrived. They were married in a small, beautiful ceremony surrounded by family and close friends. But the biggest surprise came after the wedding. Chima had taken NEA to a specialist. With several surgeries and months of therapy, she began to regain strength in her legs. She wasn't fully healed, but she could now walk, something she never believed would happen. One evening, as they relaxed in their new home, NEA slowly stood and took a few careful steps toward him. Chima watched, his eyes brimming with tears. Look at you, he whispered, overwhelmed. You're walking. She smiled and held his hand. I never thought I'd walk again. But you made me believe in myself. You gave me hope. He pulled her into a gentle embrace and kissed her forehead. It's because you never gave up. In that moment, they knew nothing else mattered. Not wealth, not status, not opinions. Love had triumphed. Together, they would face the future with courage, hope, and joy. Hey lovely people, thank you so much for watching this heartfelt story of love, strength, and resilience. I'd love to hear what you took away from it. Share your thoughts in the comments, and I'll be there to respond. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe for more beautiful tales, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to turn on your notification bell. Thank you again, and see you in the next story.